Two more races for the V8 Supercars, and the semifinal comes to the Michigan Speedway. And Nick Pressey, Josh Gaiman on the front row with the green flag about to fly in the Irish Hills. And if you've never seen these cars racing at Michigan, watch this. This is going to be some of the craziest bump drafting iRacing's ever shown you. AROC 4 is green. And just like that, 2 miles is complete under the shadows of the grandstands of the Irish Hills. Good Hope, Georgia's Cody Pennell takes the lead. Jeremy Brio in the second position, and from Nassau in the Bahamas in the top lane, Elridge George in the silver Ford. 9 hopeful cars in tonight's lineup. Nick Pressey in that 94. Representing the Fords, and then Thomas Andrews and Briley Wright, the only 2 hold-ins in the field, and it looks like Briley Wright didn't even make the start. We'll see if he joins us later tonight. Cody Pennell snaking down the front straight. Check this out. And one more time down the back, Cody Pennell leads the procession. Under the setting sun of Michigan, Jeremy Brio in the number 74 machine. 2 Fords and a Chevy. Well, a Holden, if you will. The Commodore sitting in that 3rd position. If you just tuned in, you have not missed a thing. Of the 8 cars running in this race, Jeremy Brio leads so far. 50 laps on offer tonight. Drivers are going to make it approximately 15 laps on a tank of gas. We'll see just how far they make it as the race goes on. Elridge George from Nassau in the Bahamas in the silver Mustang. Now just moving a little bit closer towards the front, Thomas Andrews, who's in this points fight, $200 on the line for the eventual AROC champion. Thomas Andrews behind Josh Gaiman, and there's the gap right there. Thomas Andrews 7 points behind. He's going to need Gaiman to have a catastrophic race tonight. If Andrews wins, Gaiman would need to finish last for them to be tied headed into the next race at Laguna Seca, which, by all accounts, is one of Josh Gaiman's better events. It's a road course. The championship in Gaiman's favor coming into this race, but, you know, that's why we race, because you just never know what's going to happen at the end of this one. So we'll find out really quick. Well, in the next, 45-odd laps. But as it is, Thomas Andrews, he needs to finish ahead of Josh Gaiman tonight. He really does. Just in terms of the championship, in terms of getting that prize money at the end, and even just having any sort of advantage going into next week's final at Laguna Seca, which was originally scheduled to be this week's final at Laguna Seca. But last week, iRacing had a couple of hiccups, and we had to postpone. Sorry to everybody who was expecting us to race here last week, but hopefully we make up for it tonight. At the front, Georgia's Cody Pennell leads the race, but not for long, and it's just going to be nothing but slingshot drafting all night long. Thomas Andrews just goes purple, 40.56 seconds. Drivers now starting to find some space between themselves, and realistically, they're going to have to pit within the next 5 laps here. Looks like a big blink from Thomas Andrews, and from the top down, 9 laps in, 9 humble cars in tonight's race, and already one of them, Briley Wright, out of the running order. Ford versus Holden. Ford versus GM on a global scale. Who do you got? Andrews in that second spot, 2 positions ahead of Josh Gaiman. We're going to be monitoring this battle all night long. And from, relatively speaking, just down the street, one of our hometown drivers tonight, Ryan Pennell from just down the road in Ann Arbor, home of the most recent college football champions, the Michigan Wolverines. Sitting in the 7th position, he sits behind Brooklyn's Nick Pressey, and if that name in red sounds familiar, well, it's because you see it on the name in black. Cousins, one from Georgia, one from up in, well, I was going to say frosty Michigan. Not right now. It's what, middle of July? I think we had a 90-degree day the other day. Gorgeous Michigan summers, gorgeous Michigan weather. And a not-so-gorgeous Michigan driver sitting in that 7th position. Tristan Catania behind him in that 48. The New Jersey pilot just trying to save fuel, maybe. It is going to be close. Pit stops in the next 4 laps, and at the front, there's only 2 of them, and one of them is leading this race. Thomas Andrews at the front, where he needs to be. Josh Gaiman sitting in 3rd, not where Thomas Andrews needs Gaiman to be. But if Andrews is at the front, Gaiman has to play catch-up. It's 1 point for every position on the racetrack. Look at Thomas Andrews just move to the inside, and he'll lead this lap for GM. This is the position where he needs to be. So, again, looking at the points, we know that it's 1 point for every position. Looking at that math, Josh Gaiman is 7 positions ahead of Thomas Andrews. Look at the contact. There go a couple of drivers. There goes Pennell. There goes George. They keep it unbelievable. They keep it green. How about that? Oh, man. Oh, man. They almost lost it all right before pit stops, too. So if they can draft together, they'll be all right. And Josh Gaiman down here in 4th. He's now struggling to stay ahead of Tristan Catania, Cody Pennell, Nick Pressey, and Thomas Andrews gets away with all of that. But these drivers are going to be sitting ducks. There's Pressey. There's Pennell. And then here comes Gaiman and the rest. Just watch how they draft. That's Cody Pennell, who's into the pits. Georgia pilot, Cody Pennell. Here for the wins, not the championship, and he brings the 28 Black Mustang down for what is an early pit stop on lap 14. So it's a 3-stop strategy for Pennell if it stays green. At the front, Holden driver. Thomas Andrews ahead of Nick Pressey. There's Josh Gaiman in 3rd. He's got the draft again. Massachusetts pilot Jeremy Brio in the purple Mustang will now take 3rd. Gaiman is in. Here comes Gaiman. How fast did Gaiman just look at that? Comes down, keeps it nice and smooth, and championship rival Thomas Andrews right there. Meanwhile, Brooklyn's Nick Pressey leading this race, trying to find a gear to race in. Sun flashes in his eyes. Will he come into the pits? Oh, he's coming in way too hot. Way too hot. Will he get it down there? He did. Down to 55 miles an hour, and he proved me wrong. Nick Pressey gets it in. Ryan Pennell follows suit. Tristan Catania by his side, and now Josh Gaiman, who attacked the pits brilliantly. He will come out with the lead and stay in the lead. It's that kind of strategy that could win this race for Gaiman, but immediately Cody Pennell with the slingshot around Gaiman, and Thomas Andrews in third. It goes Ford, Holden as they come across the line. Cody Pennell will be your new leader. And there is the exchange for first. Thomas Andrews in third, and Brooklyn's Nick Pressey will resume his race in fourth. He jumps back into line. Here come Pennell, Catania. Is it too little, too late? Two cars now struggling to catch up with the draft on board with Ryan Pennell. Miles. It might as well be Miles. Now, this is where the bump drafting comes in. Big blink from Pennell. I thought my computer just shut down. I was terrified. I thought it was about to get a blue screen. No, Ryan Pennell's just with a blink there. The bump drafting works at Michigan. However, these guys have to be extremely careful not to bump draft too hard with each other, because they really could mess each other up. And looks like Pennell says, Tristan, you go on ahead. Meanwhile, Brio goes purple. Car 74, quickest lap so far, 40.27. He's in the fight for this lead, and so is championship leader Josh Gaiman. Just watch them draft this one out. This is going to be great. 18 laps into this race. Everybody just flying around. Second in points, Thomas Andrews. Cody Pennell is in third, and let's make no mistake, by no means is Cody Pennell out of this championship. He's only one marker off Thomas Andrews. $200 on the line for only a 6-race effort. Cody Pennell well within that championship fight. Andrews only 1 point ahead of Cody Pennell. Landon is in the house, the #1 Bluegrass Bandit fan on the planet. Going on, Landon? Been quite a while. Hey, Landon, shout out Landon, because he was a big fan of TNT while Aiden Norman was there. We missed him last season, but Landon, TNT will be back late summer 2024. We're thinking late August for a start here, so stay tuned, because the Bluegrass Bandits will be back for some more stock car racing. And if you don't know, now you do. Byron Jones also in the house. What's going on, BJ? Welcome in the house. Shout out to Byron in the Southwest. Jeremy Brio now coming up for this lead to the inside, almost to halfway. Remember, Cody Pennell made it 14 laps on that fuel run. Nick Pressey went all the way to 15. Landed saying that he'd love to join TNT one of these days, and whenever you can, man, come on through. Thursday Night Thunder will be back Thursday nights, late August, in Rick James right here on Rick James TV. Yotes, I'm good. Shout out Byron Jones over there asking how we're doing. We're good, man. Everything is good, and we're doing well. Landon saying Riggs and Estes not racing anymore. Well, this is kind of an invite-only competition. Landon, this is for ARC's champions. Cody Riggs and Toby Estes not joining that criteria, but rumor has it we're going to be switching up the ARC's criteria to fit in a wider breadth of ARC's drivers. So we'll see what happens next year. I mean, it is kind of a special thing that we only run these cars 6 races a year. As Landon says, peasants. Sure. Landon over there calling Cody Riggs and Toby Estes peasants, but your words, not mine. Josh Gaiman. Repping for the Fords. 4 Fords up front. The lonely Holden. Thomas Andrews rolling in 5th. Maybe he's trying to save fuel for this one. It's going to have to be a huge stretch if he wants to make it on 2 stops, but we'll see what happens. Anything's possible. Briley was on the roster for this race. Take a look at the scoring tower there on the left, Landon. Briley looks like he missed the start, so he's out as currently being scored out of this race. So that leaves Thomas Andrews as the lone Ford in this event. Tristan Catania and Ryan Pennell, 2.8 seconds off of the top 5, but a caution will bring them right back into this. Cody Pennell sitting 3rd, and it's really just a drafting race now. On board with the 2.8. Quarter to go next time. By 25 will be on the board. Thomas Andrews still behind this pack, 3 wide out of the second corner, and the Fords continue to battle amongst themselves. Tristan Catania back in this mix. Ryan Pennell back in this mix. Elrich George minding his own business in the 8th position, praying to the racing gods that a yellow flag be his toe back to the top 7. Josh Gaiman leading for now, and once again they drag race into turn number 1. Watch this. Gordon's 24 laps remaining. Cody Pennell leading Josh Gaiman into turn number 1, the semi-final, up for grabs. Josh Gaiman, your pole sitter, he gets the bonus point for pole, so put him now 8 points ahead. If Cody Pennell wins, he needs Josh Gaiman to finish second to last, just to be 1 point off of him headed into next week's final at Laguna Seca. Gaiman to the point with 23 laps to go, and if I'm those guys behind him, I'm formulating a plan to get the 28 of Cody Pennell and the 2 of Thomas Andrews up towards the front, just to mix a little bit of drama in this race. Josh Gaiman, He wants to stay clean and green ahead of the competition. Anything can happen. That's why we love racing. And we're going to see what's going to happen. 22 laps to go this time by. Josh Gaiman just coolly cruises by Jeremy Brio. Double deuce on the board this time. Pit stops looming, by the way, and as well, there it is. Cody Pennell coming in 14 laps on the nose, comes in at an alarming 55 miles an hour. And the Georgia driver brings it down. Once again, he's going to be the first car in. So he needs 14 laps to make this happen. He pitted on lap 14. Here comes Cody Pennell pitting on lap, 28? Quick math will tell you he's going to need to pit again on lap 42. It is a 3-stop race. If drivers really, and it's going to be incredibly close. Because even with a 3-stop race, drivers are what? As you see Gaiman coming into the pits. How about Brio and Andrews looking a little squirrely, making sure that they don't speed. But what? It's lap 28. 14 laps from now puts us at lap 42. So drivers will need to pit with 8 laps to go. They'll have, what, 7 laps of gas. Okay, so they should be good to go after this 3rd stop. And I don't think anybody's going to have the stones to try and, stretch this thing. But, of course, the great equalizer, the yellow flag, could bring it all down to the ground. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. I hope you are, too. Tristan Catania is on his way into the pits in his number 48 Ford Mustang. Does he speed? He does not. Brooklyn's Nick Pressey, new leader in the number 94 Ford. Holding on tight to the back end of his orange Ford as Cody Pennell with fresh tires will make his move around Pressey, who's now screaming his way into the pits, coming in at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And man, did he get in time, or is that going to be a speeding penalty for him? Maybe Brian Pennell wondering the same thing. He enters the pits in 2nd. There's Josh Gaiman in the lead. He last pitted on lap 29. Cody Pennell well within that draft, so he's right up Gaiman's rear end if he needs to be. Jeremy Brio also giving Gaiman some trouble. No cautions so far. Brio will go ahead and make the dive down into turn number 3. He is projected to take the lead when he comes around turn 1. Still waiting on Pressey and Pennell to get a move on. There's Pressey down and away. Pennell is not going anywhere. Is it a penalty for Ryan Pennell? No, there he is, finally down and away. So Pennell will watch the pack go past him, and he has no draft in the 12. Catania gets away. Brio still in that 2nd position. And how about Nick Pressey attacking pit road? And, well, the number 94 Mustang now shoots out to the race lead with fresh tires. 18 laps to go this time by. I don't presume that anybody's going to be able to save 3 laps of fuel. If a caution comes out, maybe, just maybe. And if you're a neutral fan, you're wondering, well, hopefully. Landon asking if it's a 15-lap max on fuel, and it is. I wouldn't even say that one. Nick Pressey was able to take it to lap 31 this time by. Let's take a look at those stints, because this now becomes very interesting. So there's Nick Pressey. Byron Jones asking if these are the supercars. Yep, V8 supercars. Your Ford Mustang as you know it, and then the Holden ZB Commodore, or as the Australians say, the ZB Commodore. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's based on the Buick Regal, and at least it's based on the same frame as a Buick Regal. And then, of course, they put the different body on it. But any way you like it, it is Ford versus GM. Take your pick. We've got 7 Fords and 1 lonely little General Motors, the Holden of Thomas Andrews, rolling in 5th. Anyway, back to these stint times, because Nick Pressey is still leading this race. However, he's not saving any fuel. Take a look at that first stint, 15 laps. The second one, 16 laps. He's going to need to save approximately 2 more if he wants to have a chance of, any remote chance of two-stopping this race. But he got the win at Bristol. Luck could be on his side. He might just get the win at Michigan. 15 laps to go, and he's got no draft help. Josh Gaiman and Jeremy Brio coming in a hurry. And here comes Cody Pennell on board with the 28. .14 on the clock, next time by Josh Gaiman. Just can't hang on to that spot anymore. Cody Pennell grows ever closer, half a second and counting. Thomas Andrews, 0.6 of a second behind him. He still has the draft. Tristan Catania, 6.5 seconds off the pace. Pennell, an additional 11 seconds back. 14 to go, and if a caution comes out, you might as well just flip the order over again, because this is going to be the craziest run you've ever seen. But until then, Jeremy Brio in the purple Mustang, Josh Gaiman in the pink Mustang, running second and third, well, now third and second respectively, and Brio up 5 places from where he started. But how about Nick Pressey by himself, no draft help, over the last 5 laps? Nick Pressey has been steadily pulling away from Jeremy Brio. Again, they have one more pit stop cycle to go. If Pressey can continue to extend this lead, he may have a cushion over Josh Gaiman, and Gaiman can attack pit road extremely well. This is going to get interesting. Lucky number 13 laps to go. It's not just down to pit strategy now. It's down to track position. 3.08 seconds and counting. Gaiman now falls in line with Brio, and Pennell also gets in a nice, cozy straight line, and they've decided we're going to go get Nick Pressey. Pressey's lead grows 3.14 seconds for Nick Pressey, and it just keeps getting larger, building himself a nice little cushion. It will be 1:0 to go next time by, then 9 at the line for the Brooklyn Pilot, who now leads by 3.1 seconds over Josh Gaiman and Jeremy Brio. The points leader sitting in second, his rivals running 4th and 5th, and the Bristol winner leading this race with one more pit stop on the horizon before we crown a winner tonight. If you just tuned in, you have not missed a thing. Shout out Landon, who's been having a good time with us tonight watching this race. Landon anticipating the return of Thursday Night Thunder, and so am I, but we have one more race before we're done with AROC, the grand final at Laguna Seca. Next week, we crown a champion of AROC 4, and somebody gets $200, and Josh Gaiman already has one hand on the money. And I mean, what, for 6 short races, not a bad, meager little payday. Ryan Pennell blows by his hometown iRacing fans in turn number 1. Here comes the cavalry. It is 9 laps to go. You can just hear the cars behind him singing at a higher song. They've organized 3.43 seconds the difference. They cannot catch him. Pressy leads. 3.5 seconds the difference. The Bristol winner continues to extend his gap. Pressy pitting on lap 31. He's going to need to pit with approximately 5 laps to go. Josh Gaiman will need to pit right around now. Jeremy Brio behind him, Cody Pennell behind him, but they have been able to save more because Gaiman has been cutting the air ahead of them. Landon says, is Aiden driving Pressy's car or what? And Elrich George, oh, is he going to be right ahead of these guys as they come down into the pits? Shout out to Aiden Norman, living it up on the West Coast there, doing what he does. And here comes Gaiman. Here comes Gaiman. Oh, will they make it in? Gaiman, Brio, Pennell, looks like they all made it in under 55 miles an hour. 4.5 seconds behind race leader Nick Pressy is Thomas Andrews in second. He last pitted on lap 29. He's going to push the fuel as far as he can. Brooklyn's Nick Pressy with 6.5 laps to go. His lead grows 4.5 seconds. Pennell finally down in his pit. There's Josh Gaiman. There's Jeremy Brio. Brio's down. Pennell waiting to move. He's finally down. There goes Josh Gaiman. He's going to beat everybody out of pit road. Thomas Andrews now finally coming in, and Nick Pressy leading this race with a massive advantage. 4.7 seconds was the gap when he came into the pits. And there's Josh Gaiman just coming out of turn number 2. So what's the strategy for Pressy? How about Ryan Pennell sitting in third right now? He's sitting pretty. If a caution comes out, he's good. Pennell last pitted on lap 31, so the math says he has to pit now, but has he been saving? He has been saving because he's going to stay out. He's going to drop out of the top 3, but he's throwing the only play he's got, and it's a Hail Mary. We've seen it land hundreds of times before. It may just land again. How about that? Thomas Andrews almost coming back out onto the track. Nick Pressy. There's Pressy. And there are the rivals. Gaiman behind him. Fresh tires, enough fuel. Everybody has the gas to make it to the end. 5 laps to go this time. Gaiman with a mirror full of Brio. Thomas Andrews just goes purple, 40-19. And the view on board, Thomas Andrews in 6th. Cody Pennell sitting in 4th, Josh Gaiman in 2nd. Are they racing for 2nd? It is 4 laps to go. 8 more miles. Nick Pressy looking to get his 2nd win in AROC. These are the points headed into this race. Nick Pressy running in 4th. 4 points off of Cody Pennell. A championship extremely unlikely, but the points leader with 2 wins, and Nick Pressy looking to do the same. That'd be a big moment of pride for him. The pilot from Brooklyn looking to score 2 wins in, what, 3 races? Round 3 at Bristol, round 4 at Indianapolis, I think, and then round 5 here at Michigan. That'd be something. 6 miles remain. Byron Jones watching on YouTube saying Pressy looks good out there. Caution free so far. Ryan Pennell, still hoping for that. If the caution comes out, now Ryan Pennell will have a chance. If Nick Pressey passes him, it's pretty much over. But the gap, 1.5 seconds, and it's starting to close. 4 miles remain. Cody Pennell sits in second. He's ahead of Josh Gaiman by 1 position. Will they make it? If Pressey gets the white flag, it is a race no matter what. A championship still on the line. Josh Gaiman with one hand on the money. And the only man who can stop him, the Georgian from Cody Pennell. Right beside him, Thomas Andrews is in. He's out of fuel again, and it's a 4-stop race, or is it a penalty for the Holden driver? Either way, his championship may be going up in smoke. 1.48 seconds of the gap. White flag this time by Pennell and Gaiman, side by side with Brio watching on. 1 more to go. There's contact. They're going to split him. They're going to split Gaiman into 1, 3 wide. Oh, there's more contact there. They're going to make it. They're going to make it. 3 Mustangs, 3 wide out of turn number 2. Gaiman in second. A 1 second gap for Nick Pressey at the front. Cody Pennell in second. He's going to slide up the track. Contact between them. They're going to drag race for second. Nick Pressey wins round 4. Brio touches the wall. He's out of this one. Drag race for the silver medal. Josh Gaiman on the outside, and it is Gaiman who gets Cody Pennell. 2/100ths of a second in the race for second place. Josh Gaiman just beats Cody Pennell. Nick Pressey with the win, Josh Gaiman in second, Cody Pennell in third. And how about the race for that second position? We'll recap that in just a moment. And there's Nick Pressey, 2 times a winner in AROC, and you got to give it to him. The strategy won. He attacked pit road beautifully. Byron Jones saying what I'm thinking, what a finish. Let's go back to that white flag here. Actually, let's see if we can go just a little bit more recent. And this is out of turn number 2. Watch this. See if we can get a little closer. Here we go. This is through 3 and 4. Cody Pennell with a slingshot move into turn 3. A little bit of contact. Clean contact. Good, clean racing. You'll see Pennell and Gaiman just get a little squirrely. Pennell just trying to intimidate Gaiman a little bit. Makes no contact. And that's as clean a finish as you can get right there. Cody Pennell trying to get Gaiman out of the way, but he makes no contact, and they have a great contest to the end. And Nick Pressey will end up celebrating. And the Brooklyn driver doing his donuts. We're going to catch up with Nick Pressey, Josh Gaiman, and Cody Pennell on the podium in just a moment. I'm still trying to catch my breath. That finish was fantastic. Don't go anywhere, fans. We're going to have the top 3 in just a bit. On the podium with our top three after a thrilling finish for the silver medal, no less, at Michigan. Let's talk to our fourth place driver, Jeremy Brio, in that purple Ford Mustang. Jeremy, awesome racing, by the way. First time we've seen you on in quite a while, and you end up with a lot of really good battling at the front. How was the car?
The car was good. It handled pretty well. It was definitely, if it didn't come down to how fast you got off pit road, I mean, it would have been a fun drafting race. But obviously, it came down to who could get off pit road fastest and who had a overall better optimum time on pit road. So Nick had a really good time on pit road, and he got out by himself by at least 2.5 seconds. And then when it was just me and Gaiman and Cody, we couldn't really do anything with it, just because he had the draft off of a lap car, and that's just about it. But I mean, if we had like a late race restart there, I think it would have been a lot of fun to watch, and maybe we would have had a 15 car pileup or whatever with how many cars we had out there. But it was a lot of fun.
I'm not going to lie, I was kind of hoping at the end for a late race caution just to reel him in and see what we could do, but we'll write that down in the notes for next season. We'll get some longer fuel runs on these 2-milers. Thanks so much for coming out, though, man. Hopefully we see you next week at the final.
You will. Thanks, Rick.
Our second place and silver medalist tonight, he's got one hand on the trophy. Mr. Joshua Gaiman with another second place finish, with an average finish of second, mind you, so never mind that you're just completely blowing the stats up. But you had a good car tonight. You were almost there to get Nick.
Yeah, I was, I was trying to figure out how I went in like, I don't know, a second or a second and a half ahead or whatever it was, and come out and I'm 2.5 behind, so... it was, it's whatever, it's what it is. But it was a good race overall. A lot of fun.
It's going to be a 9-point lead for you headed into Laguna Seca next week. Good luck. Hopefully we see you there.
Absolutely.
Tonight's winner, Nick Pressey, in the number 94 orange Mustang. It's a Ford podium with your race car right at the top, Nick, and it's 2 wins for you in AROC. Jeremy said it all, really. The pit road strategy did it for you.
Yeah, I didn't have to wait 999 days for this one. The pit road strat, I have a lot of theories. I'm starting to make some theories over just what the heck happened. From probably the in lap, because everyone else was conserving when they went in, and I decided to do, I think, a push lap and a half when I went in. There's a lot of things that I think could have happened. Maybe it's a bunch of small things that all came together. Uh, Coming out at the end of that second pit cycle by myself, I said I could fall back and try to cut this stop out, or I could go with what I know and probably just push this thing to the limit and see what happens. Thank you very much, Rick. Always a pleasure.
Fans at home, that's going to do it for us tonight. Nick Pressey coming away with his second win. And then next week, like we said, the final at Laguna Seca. Money on the line, pride on the line, and a title of the best driver in AROC on the line as well. We'll see what happens 7 nights from now. And don't forget, the TNT season starts in late August. And until that next race, everybody, please stay safe. Do take care of each other. And we will see you all around the corner. Tonight's winner, Nick Pressey.